This is Death Row with Ultimate Wrestling. You're watching Frontrowfantics.com. Who's the man here?
Holy shit! I'm dying. Biff, pow, socko, smash. Drinking some more Mickeys, getting trashed, yeah. Me and Heinrich and Brother Internet here, continuing with our raucous review of Ultimate Wrestling's Annihilation show that took place in the smelling ass armpit of the South, Milton, Florida. Roll on, Big Daddy.
Alright, and I wanted to kind of talk about the main event a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Because there was so much going on in this aside from the aftermath. I mean, I can't convey enough the amount of quality wrestling action that was going on in the ring. And, you know, at the beginning you had to ask yourself, how were Joe Gibson and Death Row going to coexist in a match where they had to tag team together? And the answer is, they didn't. There were so many blind tags going on and just a total lack of communication. And, you know, a lot of people talk about who's the most dangerous guy in Ultimate Wrestling, and for a while it's been Death Row. And for me, you know, Joe Gibson has a little more control than Death Row. He's a little more focused, and I would have to give the nod and you know, show respect to Joe Gibson for being the total badass of Ultimate Wrestling.
Absolutely. Joe Gibson and Death Row seem to have a bad case of one-upmanship on each other instead of focusing on the task at hand, putting their differences aside to be a cohesive tag team.
Yes.
And beat Frost and BTY. They spent most of the time, like you said, blind tagging one-upping each other, you know, giving each other the stink eye and everything, instead of focusing on the match, which I believe ultimately cost them the match and giving the win to BTY and the Master of Devastation, Cameron Frost.
Absolutely.
Awesome match with four of the best guys that you could put in a ring together and deliver for the fans. You know, I can't tell Ultimate Wrestling Management enough. Thank you for, you know, I mean,
especially with Milestone coming up to give us something that momentous and that's something that epic. It was a perfect lead up to Milestone. It was good.
I can't, and like I said, I'm with you. Can't say enough. Thumbs up to Ultimate Management for putting, you know, all these guys who have various things going on in this match, in the main event, you know. I loved it. What more can I say?
Absolutely. And right now we're going to move on to picking our favorite match and the runner-up.
All right. You want to go first, or am I going first?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
For me, this was a tough decision, but I'm going to give my match of the night to Marcus Gibbs and the Suicidal Soldier in the Cruiserweight match, and then my runner-up being the main event with BTY, Frost, Death Row, and Joe Gibson.
Wow, it's an interesting choice. Me, myself, I gave the match of the night to the main event, BTY, Cameron Frost against Joe Gibson, Death Row. And believe it or not, runner-up I had to give to Bobby Doll and Justin Stone.
Well, that was another tough choice in there. And, you know, and then I'm also looking at, you know, sometimes we think about highlight of the night. And, of course, if you ask everybody and you look on the YouTube poll, everybody's, the Suicidal Soldiers, you know, moonsault off the ladder. Nah. Nothing against you, Soldier. You were awesome, talented. That moonsault was the shit. But the highlight of the night was, can you say, BAM! 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 As Bobby Doll was dropping armpit redneck Johnny Rebel on his head. Not once, not twice, but 3 times, my baby, as he was breaking your neck for showing him no respect and stealing the man's robe.
You just don't do that. Maybe you get away with that in Milton, but not in the high society world Bobby Doll.
That's right. I mean, you're talking about an ultimate legend who goes first class everywhere, you know.
Okay, right now we're going to rate the show.
Absolutely. I gave it an 8.5. You know, everything start to finish was pretty good. The only match for me that was kind of lackluster, and I don't want to use that word for, you know, like that, was the tag match with Flex and Cage, Carlos, and the Amish Assassin. And it wasn't so much that it wasn't a good match, because it was technically sound and a smart match, but it just got, after a while, it got old watching them work poor Amish Assassin's leg over for 20 minutes. I mean, Flex, Brian Cage, I give you kudos. Smart, intelligent wrestling. You isolated the man, you isolated the body part, and you worked him over, and you got the win. But other than that, 8.5, solid. Once again, Ultimate Wrestling delivers a high-quality show. I enjoyed it, and I'm eagerly looking forward to Milestone.
And I gave the show an 8.7 for mostly the same reasons. Like I said, to take nothing away from those guys, we've been hyping Carlos D'Angelo for so long, fighting champion. Eon Flex, of course, the X Factor champion, Brian Cage with his streak, and a returning Amish assassin. It's just, you know, the matches were building up, and that kind of tapered off a little bit with that match.
That, and we had some slight technical issues with the mics that were, you know, a tad bit annoying, so to speak.
Right.
But, you know, small things. Ultimate Wrestling is constantly striving to improve and be the most professionally run promotion on the Gulf Coast. Lights, music, sound, you know, talent, you know, adding Suicidal Soldier to the roster. What more can you say? They now have their radio show, which you are an integral part of on
I'm just there to
on Tuesdays. You know, the Ultimate Wrestling Power Hour, I believe it's called.
Yes.
Go, hey, you know, give a shout out to them. They gave a shout out for the Front Row Fanatics. I'm all about spreading the love, brother.
If you want to check it out, go to Gulf Coast Talk, sportstalk.com. Let me say it again because I stuttered like I did on the show. GulfCoastSportsTalk.com. It's every Tuesday, 6:30, 7:30 Central Time.
And I'm the one drinking, and he's the one stuttering. So what's up with that? But you know, Ultimate Wrestling strives to put on a good show, top to bottom. They are professional from the food to the lights to the talent to the ring to the venues. You know, what more can I say? Ultimate Wrestling is an enjoyable wrestling experience anytime you go and check it out. And with the exception of the dead-ass, no-noise-making, armpit inhabitants of Milton, Florida crowd, you know.
Right. And I did want to point it out about this show. This show was a fun show. You know, you always go to Ultimate, and I've been talking about Ultimate moments. You know, you walk away from most shows with an Ultimate moment, something you'll remember a couple of years down the road. And Ultimate Wrestling for me is like a spectacle. You go, it's an event. But for whatever reason, and I'm not complaining in the least, this was a fun show. There was some good interaction with the crowd. We got into a little verbal sparring match with Sally Sue.
Right, and with Joe Gibson too. You know,
yeah, Joe,
something that we had previously said was lacking in Ultimate Wrestling as compared to other promotions that we attend. You know, and it's good, you know, now whether that what we said or complained or whined or bitched and moaned about, whatever you want to say, went to the attention of Ultimate Management and they paid attention or not is irrelevant. We don't know, we don't care, but at least they take the time and listen to what we have to say. And
Ultimate does not turn their nose up when fans have a complaint or a compliment.
Absolutely.
You know, they hear everything and they don't take it personal, which is one thing I love. Alexander Hurst III, very open-minded. You know, if something sucks, if you tell him, just be respectful, you know, don't go up and say, hey, you're shit.
Absolutely.
Do up and say, hey, you know, I kind of didn't like this, I did like this, and Ultimate Wrestling pays attention to that.
And they do, and hopefully, you know, I'm looking forward to Milestone, and I know the crowd's going to be a lot better, which definitely adds to the show. If I was Mr. Hurst, I think maybe you ought to start finding another venue to run somewhere besides Milton since these unappreciative hillbillies in the armpit, you know, I mean... What can I say? Anyways, we're getting the wrap it up signal, so we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with some previews, reviews, whatever.
Predictions.
Yeah, predictions too. I need to drink some beer.